Hello, 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 Wi-Fi's. I am welcoming you back to yet another episode of the Wireless Woman, one that I am so excited about. If I have anyone in the chat, please let me know if y'all can hear me. You know, I am the queen of technical difficulties, and I have had a few. I've had some trials in my many days and times. So let me see. Let me check myself and see if I'm making sounds, because I know last time I had 18 pure minutes of silence. Okay, and that's not the life I want to live. So if you can hear me, put it in the chat. If not, I'm going to be all up in these YouTube streets looking for my own stream to try to make sure you can actually hear what I'm saying. But welcome back, Wi-Fi's. I hope y'all had a great week. Since the last Wireless and Live Wednesday, I have been rolling. Keep rolling. I have been rolling. You hear me? So I've got Maurice. He's saying it's not letting them join. Like I said, the queen of technical difficulty. So let me see what I can do to work on that. But as I have said, if I have people that are in the chat that can go ahead and let me know you hear me. Let me get over into my own YouTube here. And I do appreciate everyone who does come into Wireless and Live. Let me see. And I do appreciate everyone who does come into Wireless and Live. Let me see. And I do appreciate everyone who does come into Wireless and Live. Let me see. All right, so we do have sound and we are live and we sound good. We sound crispy just like I do in my earphones. Oh, hey, Bryant, how are you? Welcome to another episode of The Wireless Woman, and I appreciate you for giving me that thumbs up on being able to hear me. Everyone knows that my arch nemesis is going live, but it is imperative. It is imperative that you get in these live streets so that we can interact with each other, you know? I mean, otherwise I'm just a talking head sitting on here saying what I got to say, and I'm going to speak my speech if I don't do nothing else. So, but I always want to hear from you and give you guys the opportunity to weigh in on the nonsense, the childish, petty nonsense that comes out my face sometimes. Every once in a while I say something insightful. Tonight I do have on my Teen Wolf shirt. I am representing the 80s. I mean, even though I'm as old as you can be and still be considered an 80s baby, but it's been so much wild stuff going on. It's been a wild west in these media streets. I am happy myself because your girl is like 2 or 3 weeks away from being an official homeowner, and y'all already know it's been the most awkward place to be in, because part of it is like I'm super happy. Like, even when I was talking to my son's school about the fact that he's going to be transferring out and just getting the information on what I need to do, I was like, well, I bought a house. They were like, how? And I was like, "Exactly, right? I know, right?" They were like, "How?" So not only to be in a time economically where people would ask you how you were able to buy a house, but to be doing it on my own. It wasn't supposed to be this way. It was not supposed to be this way, but I'm grateful that God provides for babies and fools, because I know, I had a and I need to put it on the screen so y'all can see it. I had a comment, in my comments where he was talking about, "Do you even have the spirit of God?" I'm like, "Do you? Do you?" You should have asked him before you asked me, because I might tell you a lie. But, even for a heathen like me, God still provides. So I'm working with my, guest because I need Raymond Earl here. Y'all give me a second. You know, I'm the queen of technical difficulties, and I feel proud of myself because I'm actually here this week. I'm showing up on camera and my microphone is working. Like, the only other thing that could have gone wrong was for my guest to not be able to join us. So I am working to get him here. Let me try a new link. Broadcast link will expire and any ongoing sessions will end. This page will reload with a new invite link. Can't do that. That ain't gonna work. So let me send my guest my link and see if that helps. I will be right back, you guys. And if nothing else, we're gonna talk about all this raging lunatic craziness that's been going on. I mean, it has really been a week. It has really been a week, and welcome. I see I got some other folks coming on. We gonna get Maurice on here for you guys. Just give me a second. I promise I will be right back. All right. We're back, but just hang on one more minute for me. I'm working with my guests. You guys, this is going to be I promise you, it is going to be a great, awesome, amazing live. We started early, me and Maurice, working on this live, and we just have so many things to come in here and bring you and talk to y'all about. But like I said, it just wouldn't be the wireless woman without without some kind of technical difficulty. So just give me a minute. I'll be right back. All right, all right, all right. Hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Welcome to my channel, Mr. Maurice Raymond Earl. Gillespie's in the building, people. He in the
What's up?
building. Look, for that, I gotta give you a round.
For give me a round.
The starters in the building. We about to catch it. I don't remember how it go, but I got that feeling. We are now watching the throne. Don't let me get in my zone, Maurice. What's up?
Nothing, chilling.
Well, I would like to welcome you to room 303. And
I
the
think.
beautiful thing about room 303 is we are outside of the matrix, baby. You get to say whatever you want to in here.
Oh, that's what's up. That's definitely what's good. I wish I could say is it do you wait to share your podcast?
Wait to share it. Nah, we can share it right off the
Okay.
rip. I don't
Okay.
generally share it though
Yeah.
with anybody because you know how people are, they're blocky.
Oh yeah. That block.
But yeah, you can definitely share the stream. There's a button right there. This is pretty cool, right? When you get inside of the little setup. We was spending all this time waiting on you.
Yeah, I was trying. I was like, what's going on? But I guess the email did it. What's that? Expired links or something? I don't know.
No, it shouldn't be an expired link, but it did give me an option to make the link permanent, and maybe I should have done that. Maybe that's something I should have been on. But anyway, it is so good to have you. I am going to let you introduce yourself to the people before I say anything.
Um, I don't know. I don't really. Um. Well, I'm inspiring film director. I'm a spoken word artist.
I was about to say, don't get on here and get shot, Maurice,
Nah,
because
nah,
this
nah,
is not
nah.
the
It's
place.
my thing.
Okay,
It's
first
my
things
thing.
first, what is your name for all of the wireless community that has no idea who you are at all?
My name is Maurice Gillespie. Um, Sometimes I go by OutDaBoxx, and I have a few like alter ego like characters, comedian type shit I be doing, but all together like um out the box it explains more like my music movement because I wanted to infuse like spoken word with rap, like bars, and I think I did it. So that's where my name out the box came from. And so
Yeah, but you out the box in many ways that people don't know. I really respect your art. Do you have something like off the rip that you can kind of like share with us? Something from out the box? 'Cause, I actually copped the project, and there's several tracks on it that I like. I like, what is it? Design and Destiny.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all me right there.
Uh more of what, spoken word? You won't rap like now. I'll be rapping.
Well,
I'll be
give us one of
rapping no
your
more.
spoken word pieces, because like I said, you ain't gonna come on here and get shy, because I don't
Nah,
even have
nah,
time for it.
nah. I won't come on and get some. Let me see. Let me see what I got. I got
'Cause I was about to say, you sent me some stuff you was working on. I want to hear something.
um let's see. Confiscate my success. I'm just too worthy of failure. See beyond seas. I'm a diamond. You can't hurt me from the pressure. My lifestyle affected my accomplishments. In certain situations, use of common sense would have been a monument carved in marble. Hearts that sparkle like dark nights and stars that sparkle. Paper cut particles scarred from articles that mirrored my name. You'll
Mhm.
die if you mirrored my pain. Clearing the rain away pride left me nearer the shame. I don't see why. Believing my Angelo and still we rise like great blazing suns and still beat skies low like horizons. I still believe eyes are the windows to the soul. I'm going like the wind that blows. Please blow me a gentle breeze. It's really something my mental needs, my physical breeze, life living for love. Made it my business to love, but as I analyze positions, I'm finished with love. I done gave too much for me not to get in return this much. It's not even. Not even. It's odd even. Heart beating, but I feel like I'm not breathing. God, demons need to leave me alone. If I am by
Mm.
myself and on my own. That's like some
I gotta give you some snaps on that.
yeah.
I
I'm not
feel like you really share things in your poetry that anybody on any level would be able to like relate to. I'm gonna give you some claps. I know we're supposed to snap.
yeah. I've been, and that's what I've been doing. I've been down here working like that's why I'm in Fayetteville, North Carolina right now, and we've
Nice.
been working on our group pieces. We got actually the girl in our show, I mean the girl in our group, the woman.
The woman. You know how I feel.
yeah,
You know how I feel about that. The
yeah,
woman.
the woman in our group, she has a because I always look at her as like a little sister, so it's just like you know what I'm saying. Even though like
Yeah, I do it too. I call super grown women girls, and then I have to catch
yeah.
myself.
Yeah, so I had to correct myself on that when I'm talking to others about her. But yeah, Verse, she got a show coming up, and she wanted us to be like a part of it. So we've
Nice.
been
You
there.
know when it's you know when it's coming up, so we can let everybody know to come check you out.
Um, I think it's this Friday.
Mhm.
This Friday, and I don't know what exactly this Friday is, but I think it is this Friday. So we got like
It's the 9th.
one more day to like cram. Yeah, cram these poems in our head. But it's going good. It's going good.
Well,
I
I
got like
appreciate you taking time out of your cram schedule to be here
oh
with
yeah,
me.
yeah. This is I was trying to get in here on time. You know how black people say all the time. It's, oh Lord, they
Oh
ain't
no, no, no.
but
I'm the queen of technical difficulties. I literally started my live stream last week and had to cut it, make a whole new link and send that out to everybody. So like, yeah, don't even feel no type of way. I'm just glad that you here.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I like the setup like you said I would too. It's dope once you finally get in it. And like
Yeah, yeah, because we got all our own little chats in here. Like I can send you your own little private message.
mm-hmm.
Watch this.
And
So
can't nobody
then yeah, can't nobody even see what we talking about over here. Yeah, I really love that feature of it because I told you if I say something, let me know, hook it up. But anyway, so you and I,
mm-hmm.
you and I met years and years and years ago. We've been like crisscrossing, totally crossed out,
Yeah.
like,
Wow. Wow.
totally crossed out,
I
crossing
don't been
paths for
there.
years.
Yeah, it's crazy because of the simple fact that like when you present this type of visual to people, I think they can get a better understanding even before like um it's crazy though. But tell them the different side, like the different sides is just crazy. But it's but you can see redemption too. Also, I think uh, so.
Yeah, because originally I went to school in Fayetteville. A lot of people know that about me. I went to Fayetteville State University. If you were there with Dr. Bray and some of the other folks that had them Jamaican accents, I went to Fayetteville State University. And I'm pretty sure I met you out there in them Vietnam streets at some point. But then in a very strange turn of events, because I was a criminal justice major, you and I ran back into each other in the box, in the
hmm
literal box, in the pokey, in the pen. So what a lot of people don't know is I spent about 4 or 5 years as a correction officer, as a detention and correction officer, because they are different. And Gillespie, I used to have to call your name on that roll. Gillespie was in my pod. And
Yeah,
you and I, when we were debriefing about this particular episode, it was like that wasn't even necessarily the direction we were gonna go in. But then when we recognized that we had that particular connection, we recognized it was a conversation that needed to be had
right.
for the greater good of our community. Because I mean, here you got black woman who's a detention officer, black man who is an inmate, who
Hmm.
is a number for the state, and there are certain elements of the relationship that you can't have, and the friendships that you can't forge. But now here we are out here in these streets, and like you said, it's a redemptive story, I think, on both sides for both of us.
Right, right. And because we as people, we as prisoners, we know what they telling y'all when y'all first come in. But it's
Hmm.
just like, we are people. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are people regardless of, they like, oh, don't have no compassion, or don't, you know what I'm saying? And it's hard. I know it's hard on y'all point, and I can't really speak of being in y'all position because I'm not, but I can tell that it's hard. You know what I'm saying? On both sides, though.
Yeah, but I think the biggest part for me is that so many times, and we talked about this, like, it's unfortunately black men are disproportionately incarcerated. It just is what it is.
It
Every
is.
one of us is going to have se- several black males in our family line that are going to go away. And when they go away, so many people don't see the other side of that, because prison really is a subculture. If you have never, and most black women in general, other than going to see their significant other behind those bars and behind those windows, have never actually been inside. And so I just think it's so we think of them as like going away, but you have no idea
Right.
what's on the other side of that and how dehumanizing that is. That's
It
why
is. It is.
I hear something in your poetry and I was like, okay, I gotta have you on so we can really like just decode that whole lifestyle for people. So if you don't mind, I'd
Right.
like you to kind of go into how you ended up in the pocket in the first place, like what your sentence was, what your time was like.
Um, I had I had went in prison. I did a numerous of things. Um, and it wasn't no probation. Like, probation wasn't even on the table. It was strictly, okay, how much time you like, what we talking about. And it was numerous of things. Running from the police in the car, like felony flee to elude. I had drug charges. I had some it was what it's I don't know how they dressed it up, but I had went in this jewelry store and took a whole, like, I took like a whole, it's not like, I'm laughing at the insanity of it, and like how
Mhm.
I could actually get away with it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not actually laughing at that. I'm laughing at the insanity of doing what I actually did. But
But you
I
were
went
like,
in.
were you really young? How long ago was this?
This been long. It's been like at least 14, 16 years ago, maybe.
It's crazy. And we're so young. So you was
Yeah.
like super young.
Oh yeah, I was super young. It happened like I went into the system at a young age. I was maybe like
Mm.
10 years old,
I was gonna
maybe.
ask that. What was your child like your childhood like? Because I know when we originally talked about doing this video, we were gonna talk about like crack in the
Mhm.
communities, and I wanted to know where that was kind of coming from in your mind. Like what? Because we catch you at the level of being in prison. And it's like, okay, this is who he is as a person. Like
Right.
nothing ever happened before that. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. Like, he wasn't like, he ain't come from a family, or people who cared about him, or even when it falls into that, like, anybody, like, they like treat you like you don't have like a family that even exists to care whether, what I'm saying. That's
Mhm.
how it is. But I came up in a broken home. I came up in a one parent household, and when crack hit, that took the last parent that I had. So
Yeah, and our connection, like we're connected through so many different things, like our poetry, our art. But I went through that same situation with my sister, and I talk on this channel a lot about that because we talk about, Black women need to be submitted and da 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 da. But I think for people who weren't around at that time, watching how these women were following these men into drug life, you know what I'm
mhm,
saying, into all of the things that went along with drug life, into drug usage, drug crime, all of
mhm.
those different things. We didn't see at that time what the effect was going to be to our community, but as those millennials, because everybody pretty much that was born in the 80s, crack touched your life. Crack
It did
touched your life.
in some sort of way it did, and I'm gonna tell you why it because they made it so it would affect everybody, and it was immediate. It was immediate, and some people, the only people that didn't get hooked on crack is people that smoked it and didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? It had an off effect to them. They went the other way, and it's like, oh, I'm not
Mhm.
gonna fuck with that no more. You know what I'm saying? Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of experience it was, but it was a lot of people who experienced that have told me like, oh yeah, I tried crack one time, and or I tried it and I didn't like the way it, you know what I'm saying, and so it didn't have that type of effect on them, and they actually they missed they did good for themselves because they missed that devastation that came along with being an addict.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but
yeah.
none of us really missed it because like you said, those disenfranchised children, like when my sister was going through her, addiction and woo, baby, like woo. It's like you said, it took one parent in the form of the war on drugs because we
Mhm.
had all these men that left the community, and then it left this devastation there with the women who were there that could not cope with life because crack created an escape for Black people,
Mhm.
period. It didn't matter whether you was escaping through the drug or you was escaping poverty as a result of selling the drug. But I can
Right.
honestly say, like, my mom was one of those people that never got caught in it. I never got caught in it, but then my sister's children had to come and live with us, and now all of a
Right.
sudden we're having to fill the gap, like you said, of both parents being out of that situation
Mhm.
and how it affects children. And honestly, I think a big part of this, like gender war and all this stuff we seeing now, came out of a lot of family breakdown because of certain things like that.
Well,
It didn't matter whether it was you or not.
right. And I think you're right for the simple fact because a lot of what we're dealing with is, the gender thing, and it's only because, the man you can tell, like the man, like you can look at society
Mhm.
right
Yeah.
now and tell the man was not present in the household, and that's what you think.
Right. But see, people will say welfare took the man out the home when in fact
No, it wasn't welfare.
crack.
It wasn't welfare. It was crack. It was crack that
Crack. Yeah,
took the
but when
men
it's
out the
crack that
household.
took men out the household, no one
Right.
wants to look at that. And we dealing with a generation of crack babies.
Yes.
The
Yes. Yes.
next fallout in the 90s with
That's why they.
um
That's
violence,
right.
with drug, with
And
gang
that's
violence and all that different stuff was coming from these people who didn't have that family unit, looking because we went from crack to gangs.
yeah. And explain it, like if you just look at the ways of the world right now, it'll tell you a lot of what's going on right now. But I was one of the ones, but it didn't. I didn't just let it be like once my son was born, that gave me like a new direction. That gave me a purpose other
Mhm.
than just actually, being. So it was like, okay, damn, you know, I can't do exactly what's been done to me.
Mhm.
I got to stand up,
Mhm.
like, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And
Yeah.
so like,
So going back though, so that we can stay in a linear path, because
mhm,
me and you, we'll
yeah,
talk all day, all day,
yeah,
all day, all day, all day, all day. Yeah, we've been having a good time off of this live. Y'all do not even understand. But you said that you were 10 when you first got involved in the system. So
right.
what did those years from like being 10 to when you finally did have to do that real time? What did those years look like for you?
Well, it was that time was considered it was considered different because of some fact it was more of like it was group homes and
Mm.
more not like transitional homes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
it was more basic, more lenient into what of me actually having structure, but it was structure there. It was a man present and a woman present. So I got that family feel. And I didn't, it wasn't a need for me to kind of act out because like, even though it wasn't my mother and my father, they was taking care of my needs. And so, I excelled in that situation, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Up until the moment that I was, giving, like I was turned giving back to my parents. My
Oh, okay. So
parents,
you went back to your parent.
yeah, I was 17 though. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? I was 17, but the difference, it was a big difference because I was still a kid and I still had people to care that, oh, he's still a kid, he still got time. But once you turn a certain age and you cross that line, it's like, okay, well shit, he grown. He know what the hell
Yep.
he doing,
Yep. I'm
everything.
going through that with my son right now. Yep.
Yeah. So
People
that's
just
just
take their hands completely off.
completely off of you. It's like, well, I still make mistakes. I'm still whatever, it's not, I'm not, I'm not perfect at the end of the day. And, we do come up, we be young, we be thinking we know it, we be knowing everything, but we don't. Like, we
Do you
really
think
don't be
the
knowing.
culture do you think that the culture, like what part do you feel like the culture plays into that? Reason why I'm asking, let me preface what I'm saying. I'm such a terrible interviewer because I never feel like people understand my questions.
Mhm.
But reason why I ask that is because like I feel like, I raised my son up. I was there every day. I, kept him as safe as any single black woman, any single black female can. But there is this call of the culture that just says like you're not a man. There are certain rites of passage of manhood in our culture that are some of the most degenerate things ever. But in the mind of young men, it's like you're not a man unless. So do you feel like the culture plays into this like view that you had of what you were supposed to do from that point that people took the hands off, took the training wheels off?
To be honest, what you mean influence? Was I influenced by what?
Yeah,
What you mean?
because
I
you're
mean,
saying,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
because I feel like even when you were talking about like all the things that led to you getting to prison, like because we talked off of here and you was like, I was wilding.
Mhm.
Now I
Right.
was like, so do you feel like that was more of a peer group thing than a family group thing, like more than your peer group than what you saw growing up?
I mean, I think it was really based on like me getting attention. Really, I don't really think peers play because I was more of a leader than an actual follower. I did things the way I wanted to do it. I didn't do it no way but the way I wanted to do it. So it was like I was an influencer. So I mean, that's just the way it was.
And you feel like when you went inside, like that same type of mentality followed you there?
Most definitely because for one, I wanted to be I wanted people to actually respect me when I walked in the room. So, you know, I you know, I would do things to ensure that, like, I went and, I'm what I'm saying, I was did a couple hits and everything.
Mhm.
Rob, I went and robbed a couple people we in prison, and it's just like, people say you go do the most craziest thing in prison, you're gonna get the most respect. Whether you, you know what I'm saying, like, because and it wasn't like that, but what I got tired of doing was fighting. Like I was fighting every day. Sometimes I get jumped, and it was just so happened that I got jumped and ain't got really jumped. Like, cause if you get jumped in prison, like if you get really jumped in prison, you might not make it out that motherfucker alive. You get what I'm saying?
Facts.
So
Facts.
I was getting jumped and shit, and it was like I was making it out of it without, like, you know what I'm saying? Like damn, I made it out of that motherfucker. Like,
Oh,
you know
okay.
what I'm
So it
saying?
was like it was giving you like you was powering up your confidence with it.
Yeah, so it was just like, I'm gonna have to do something to, make these motherfuckers, back all the
Oh,
fuck
what
way up
they
off
don't.
of me. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. And see, I think when it comes to the culture, like it's tough because it's not a whole lot of prison guards that are black females. Like they're either black females or they're white males. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's a tough situation to be in because like you were talking about your respect, everything is about respect. And a lot of people have never seen this conversation that we're having because, like you said, they tell us when we come in there, like, you can't have no empathy for these people. You can't have no compassion. They did something to get here. Your job is not to see them as a person anymore because, this is their punishment. And so for me, I feel like so often, like we look at the culture now and prison incarceration has gone down exponentially for black men exponentially. Like
Mm-hmm.
1/3 of the amount of black men that was getting locked up in our era, like in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, have been locked up since then. And so it's wild because single motherhood's going down, incarceration going down as black people, but we're seeing those divides that were caused by all of those things still. Now it's like we don't need to do this to them anymore because we got
They
them on
don't. It's
autopilot now.
everything, and you're right. It's everything is on autopilot. Everything is on autopilot. Like, if you could, if you
Now, don't get me wrong, we still got the largest population of men that are incarcerated, but the percentage of men that are like new to the system is going down. And I think it's for a lot of reasons. We just don't live in such a dangerous society no more. And now that drugs is a white problem and not like a black problem like it used to be, they're trying to figure that out. And it has put us in a place to be left alone. They're decriminalizing a lot of drug use because they're the ones that's using it now. So they like, okay. Weed is all right. It's all right now. Because that used to get you locked up. And now they're like, you know what? Never mind. It's okay. If it's going to lock up white people, then go ahead, do your thing. So I think a lot of people need to really hear the conversation we were having the other night about that because, if me and you were having a conversation like this about you even being a human, you being more than 3/5 of a person behind them bars, baby, the first thing they would have said was like, all right, she's sleeping with him. Okay, they're in a relationship. Like
right,
it's a weird space to be in because now that you have put that chapter of your life behind, you would think people would be ready to look at you as like, okay, it's a completely clean slate. But that's why I'm saying, as black men and black women, there's never a completely clean slate. Like I'm gonna always have to know what I know about being behind those lines, and that indelibly changes the relationship between black men and black women. You get what I'm saying when I say that?
yes,
Like you're never going to be the same. You're never going to come out and look at your brothers the same way, look at your sisters the same way, people that didn't hold you down while you was in that position. Like you can never come back out and be like, okay, everything, like that was a chapter of my life, I'm gonna close that book and everything's brand new now.
right. They not going. I mean, for one, it's like people love to make you remember something that you did in your past. So it's just like, or they might not even speak on it, but they look at you like, I know, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's to I.
Can I ask you a real question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because of me, like who I am and what I represented. Like they gave us keys, but our keys didn't go nowhere. They gave y'all a uniform, but they gave us a uniform too. But I always felt when I was in that space of being the guard, being the, like you said, there's no such thing as us being the leader.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about that because you was talking about how you was the cleanup man. That's how you would always get your contraband around. You
Right,
know what I'm
right,
saying? We as Black women, I don't think there's ever been a time in my life where I felt more unprotected, unsafe than the time in my life when I was an officer, when I was wearing a uniform. And I did the whole gambit of law enforcement. So I've locked niggas up, kept niggas locked up. You know what I'm saying? I done prepared niggas for lockup. I done arrest processing, been down in the booker, been booking them and all kinds of stuff. And it's tough to be in a system like that because it really still is modern day slavery, and nobody wants to talk about, like, when we talk about the effects of slavery on Black people, nobody wants to talk about the effects of incarceration on Black men, Black families, Black
right,
relationship.
right. And then it's just like, you're expected to come out here and, jump back out into the world and
Right,
just be
go right back
established
to business
and
as usual.
yeah, like it's not possible. And I tell you that, like, because um we still, like, that's traumatic. Prison's so traumatic, and I don't think, until we really ready to sit down and talk about, the traumas that people actually go through being away, like, you know, it's it's hard. Like, I can't really say, like, okay, I'm not talking about what they did to actually get there. I'm talking about actually after the time is paid and whatever they consider is done, after they done their time and they out back in society. Where do we go from there? Because it's just like it's a disconnect. Because you
Mhm.
think, this person done did this time and he's been quiet. No, he's been, he still need that same help that he needed before he was.
Before
Yeah,
before, right, and that the correctional system doesn't even address the actual
it
issue
doesn't.
that you was put in there for. So I know you talked to me about how you found poetry in prison. So you surrounded on every side, you fighting your way out, you finding your niche and your place within prison culture. Because see, people don't even recognize there's prison culture, baby. There's a pod boss, and the pod boss is who the officer answered to. Because I know for me, baby, I ain't getting involved in the pod politics. You listen.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
point him out? Who runs this place? Let me talk to him. Let me talk to him. And there was still an hierarchy to that because I know my relationship with the inmates was totally different because I was a Black woman. Um, and men now will talk to me and because they love to tell me how masculine I am. You know what I'm saying? They love to tell me how intimidating I am, but they don't understand there was a time in my life where I had 80 men that I was responsible for making sure they didn't kill each other and they didn't kill me for 12 hours. That was it. Now, once them 12
Yeah,
hours was out,
and that's
because
and
they
that's
would
a
say that
hard
to me.
job.
They be like, you get to leave, you get to go home. I'm like, yeah, and then I come right back.
And it's a hard job. Like, that's a hard job to have. You know what I'm saying? You be like, damn, I know when you walk, if nothing happened on your shift and you walk home, I know you felt, I mean, when you went
Good.
home, I know you felt good than a
Buddy,
motherfucker.
good. And I don't even think because a lot of the men in there assume when you have on that uniform, you out to get them, you against them, that you got the back end of the white man to protect you in their mind. In some ways, that's how they see it. But I can honestly say what used to really, really like burn my biscuits about it was the fact that it was like, look, I get in trouble when y'all get in trouble. Just chill the hell out and we can all we can all have an easy night. You know what I'm saying? I can
Right.
leave the pod open till 11:15 if it's clean and you got your shirts tucked in. You know what I'm saying? But if they come in here and it's chaos, then I got to the same way you was explaining the politics on your side of it, where it's like you gotta flex or else they gonna be on you. I gotta flex or else
Well,
they gonna be on me. They gonna be in my pie every night.
well, it's not about being, and you can see, like, it's not about being hard in prison. What keeps, like, more than anything, your reputation speaks more than your actions will ever will ever have to if you're smart in prison. You get
That's
what I'm
very
saying?
true.
So if you hit three people in the head with locks and socks, and you do the max time, and you do, it all depends on what time, how much time you have too. But if you get into an altercation where you know that you can end up getting like really really bad hurt, it's best for you to it's best for you to bond first. You
Right.
get what I'm saying?
Right.
So
I
it's
know.
best for you to
I
strike
know.
first, and um once you bond first, it's like, okay, everybody seeing you bond first, and they like, oh shit, this dude is crazy. You know
Crazy.
what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
So
Yeah,
that's
but
what
we
they
have to
gauge
do the
out.
same thing because it's a respect society. It's all about
Yes,
respect.
yes,
It's
yes.
all about respect. And that's why like I said, it's a tough situation because we don't look at everything that goes into how people come into that situation and then how they come out. So I know for you, therapy, I mean, like poetry was like a form of therapy.
It
You said
definitely
something
was.
about being in a hole, and that was when you started writing. Like,
Right,
take me back
right.
through that.
Yeah, I was in the hole, and I was bored. I had stopped writing rhymes because you know, like, they came in, searched my room, went through all my rhymes, and said it was gang material, whatever. Wasn't nowhere near gang material, but I think that's how they flex their authority. Like, we just gonna take this from you. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a disconnect between them and us. Like, they did it as a sign of power because they could do it, right? So anyway, I'm like, they deflated me with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Literally, like, I'm like, I ain't writing no more. Fuck that. And I was they was bringing the book cart in one day, and I went in there and I grabbed the poems of Langston Hughes. It was like his stories and essays. It's just a collection of his work. And I started reading his poems, man. I was just blew away. I read a poem. It was called, I believe I don't get me wrong, but I think it's called Life Ain't No Crystal Stair, or something similar to that. Well, I know
Yeah,
it
that's
got
pretty
that in
cool.
it. And I read that poem and I was like, oh, yo, this is so deep. Let me try to write a poem. And I wrote a poem. And I was on MaxCon in the hole, and somebody, like a female CO, was coming by. And I can respect her for this. I don't know if you would have actually did this. Uh,
Probably not.
but I slid, like, I asked her to read the poem for me, and she read the poem, and she actually asked me how long was I writing, and I was like, "This is my first poem," and she was like, "Nah, no, it ain't." So that be like a rapport with me and her.
Mhm,
You
mhm,
know what I'm
mhm.
saying? But she's like, "No, you been writing." But that told me everything I needed to know. So that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's what I
yeah.
started.
And it's terrible that it took an experience like that to open up and unlock the gift in you, but the 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 circumstances, we don't get to choose the circumstances. We don't even get to choose the outcomes. Just
No,
whatever has
we
been
don't.
put in us is what comes out. And that's why I was saying I think a lot of the insecurity of not really knowing who you are with a lot of men nowadays because they haven't really been through any situations that test
Mm-hmm.
their manhood in that way. Because I know for me, like I said, I feel the tension between me and men as a woman because I've never been a woman that's been under the authority of men. I've been a
Right.
woman that's been over the authority of men. And like you said,
It's thick.
it changes. It changes something about you.
It's thick, boy. Ooh, when you listen, when a woman walked through that pod, you could cut that. You could be like, it's something. I know the first time that you walked through the pod, your hair had to stand up on your body. Like, it had to be like, just like, cause
First of all, I had so many dicks whipped out on me. Jesus. I'm serious. I was married at the time. Okay, because on my pod, I'm gonna talk about this for real. I was married at the time. And I remember there was like one night I came home and my husband, like, he wanted to like, do something. And so he like snuck up on me with a hard one, right? And I was like, don't touch me, don't touch me. Like, because I had seen so much dick that day. I just could not fathom someone putting yet another one in my face, even if it was a familiar way. And so I don't think people recognize, like, because as a female CEO, the men, especially the black men, nobody tries you like a black man.
That's terrible. No,
They're
that's
gonna
not. I
they're
mean,
gonna respond to you in one of three ways. Okay. One in three ways, and you can attest to the public, to the Wi-Fi public, as to whether or not this is accurate. Okay, because if you ain't ever been inside, you don't know like I know. If how they say, if you know, you know.
you
One,
know.
you gonna get a dick pulled out on you, period.
We pulling that dick out. We pulling that dick out. I didn't
It's
pull
gonna
it
get
out.
whipped, and then it's gonna get whipped. Okay.
I mean, I did whip it out on one that I did whip it out one time, but it was
like I can't laugh about it. I can't, because it really is the victimization of women. Like it really is. But see, people don't understand. It's a different culture. It's a different culture. Like
yeah.
I just did a video on my channel about a dude that pulled his dick out on my daughter. So it's like that type of thing. You can't do it in public, but over
That's not
there,
public. That's not public.
that's not public. Yeah, it's totally different. People don't understand it, because if people see me laughing and smiling about it, they're gonna be like, "Bitch, you just said," but they don't understand. It's a whole different. But
Yeah,
inside
it's
them
a whole.
walls is
Yeah,
different.
it is. It definitely
But you're
is.
gonna need to get that, or you're gonna get the ones that want to manipulate you. They want to get next to you because they're gonna try to figure out what the angle on you is. They trying to pick you like a lock. Or you're gonna have the ones that are so challenged by your authority that they gonna automatically like oppose you. They gonna bow up on you. They gonna be cussing you out. They gonna be disrespecting you. They gonna be trying to challenge your authority. You know what I'm saying? So like those are pretty much the only like categories that we as CEOs can put y'all in. Is that okay? Either they trying to get next to you because they're gonna pick you like a lock, like, hey, bring this in for me, do this for me, you know what I'm saying? Let me clean the pod for you so I can, you know what I'm saying? Like I gotta make a phone call to my girl. She don't get out till 11. If I clean the pod, I'll be out. I can just make the call. Ain't nobody gotta know. Or it's like I said, or you gonna get beat down. You get whack, whack, boom, whack, whack, boom, they gun you down. I'm like, God dog it. But there's definitely no space in that environment for a woman to be to do any of the things that a woman is supposed to be. And I feel like the outside world, bless you, I feel like the outside world is starting to become like that. Like we as women can't let our guard down this much.
Well, I think, I definitely think like that's a whole different world, and it's man, it's what it is. Like, and I wouldn't definitely, if you got to be a woman and work in a man prison, you got to be strong, because you're gonna see plenty of dick. I'm gonna tell you. I would tell you.
Why I'll let you say
That's
that
just the way
word out
it
here?
is. That's just the way it is.
And you
Like,
gonna see plenty of dick, and you gonna see men acting like a dick. Like
yeah,
the amount of men that were willing to treat me like I wasn't even a woman anymore, that would cuss me out in a way that I know if somebody talked to their mom like that, they'd be ready to kill them.
yeah,
Is weird to me. And it's like I said, once you as a man already been in a situation where you was defenseless against those same type of men. So imagine what that space was like for a woman. And I think so many men don't think about it at all. They don't think about what we go into in the workplace, like in a man's world, period. And now it's become a space where they feel like women have so much power that, like, just because we got a little bit of autonomy, which is actually not power, it's just we can do what we want to do, but they don't necessarily make us more powerful than anybody else. Because it's like I told you about the incident that made me walk away from the whole thing. We had some officers and they had roughed this boy up. They threw him down. His chin got busted open and it was bleeding out. And it was all over ego. because we get it on both sides as women. We had the officers with all this ego and wanting to prove they male prowess, and then you got the inmates with all they male prowess, and we just like, listen, if y'all, I felt like black and blue because I had seen the whole thing go down, and then they wanted me to change my report. They were like, listen, we can't turn in our report and it say this, and then you turn in your report and it say that.
Right.
So it's like you didn't have the protection of men on either side of that equation. Even trying to do the right thing by a man was going to put you in opposition to some other man.
No, and it's just like when they put me they put me back on the yard with somebody I cut. I knew right then and there. I was like, yeah, these people, I'm too loud.
That's a setup. Ooh, that's a setup. That's a setup. But that's the thing. Is there any safety? Like I really respect the friendship that we've been able to build
Mm-hmm.
outside of being in that environment, because so many people can't go back to seeing either one of those people like a human. Like it's still people that feel like, you put me in the hole. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I did what I had to do. Okay. I asked you twice. And on the third time, but it's like, I have to be able to see you. Like I've seen your art, I've seen your growth, I've seen your progression. And it's like, I don't even see you. Like I had smooth forget. You had to tell me. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. But it's like it's a part that always gonna be there. Like I said, it's traumatic. It's a traumatic. Even like people come home and they have to adjust to like their body clocks be fucked up. They be getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and shit. And that's not really fucked up. I mean, that's what time we attack the
Yeah,
world.
that's really is, because
Yeah,
I know we had them trays come in at 4:45.
yeah. Well,
We had to go ahead and get the trays out the cart, get them out. Y'all had to
man,
eat and be back in there by 5:45.
I said we don't do nothing all day. Why the fuck we eat so early?
And then it's crazy because dinner be at like 5 o'clock too. I always thought
Yeah.
that was so funny. Y'all would have breakfast at 5, wasn't no lunch coming to 12. Then
Mm-hmm.
y'all had dinner again at like 4. Here come the trays again at
Yep.
4:45,
Yep.
and then y'all would have all the way from 6 o'clock when y'all get done eating till 5 o'clock in the morning the next day, and then they be hollering contraband because y'all trying to eat at night.
Man, shit. I had
Was
plenty.
was you the soup cooker or the soup collector? I gotta know.
I was the one that I wasn't a cooker. I put the items together because I had them. Everybody came to me for poems. Like I did everybody, and that was another thing. Like I did everybody.
Didn't you draw too? Didn't you used to draw?
I used to doodle.
Okay.
But I used to put together like some mean type like cards and stuff.
Yeah, so they could send to they people like
Yeah,
Gillespie. I
yeah,
remember you.
yeah. They used
Like I remember
to,
you, dude.
yeah,
You was
yeah.
low profile. You was
I
low profile.
Kennedy.
Because for the people that's watching that don't know, he was in 2 of my institutions, 2
Yeah,
of them. And I remember you. You was super low key. You didn't give me no problems, but you
man.
used to be with the people that gave me problems.
I
So
wanted to be so low. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was a janitor, because the janitor really gotta fuck with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I gotta take the mop bucket, make sure the supplies and like everybody got everything. So I could, make my transactions or whatever. But
exactly, because you the only one get to stay out at night.
oh
I
yeah,
used to try to change my cleanup my pod cleanup up though, so they didn't know my regular routine. But yeah, it's just a hyper vigilance, and I think that there's no place I've seen the breakdown between what Black women are asked to and expected to do when we're put in the position of being protectors and providers, and how that shows up in our community than in prison. And nobody really wants to have that conversation that our men have been institutionalized from the plantation in this way and what that type of prison conditioning is doing to the Black community and the Black family.
Yep. Like even if you, not even like physically, I'm talking about like, well, physically too, but mentally, like you can't really, like you got to reshape your, like if you ain't strong, like you have to really have a strong mind to do some time in a place like Scotland or Lanesboro and come out of that shit like normal.
Yeah,
Like not
because it's like you
normal
said, a
because
lot of the officers.
I don't think you get normalcy back, but it's just
No.
like
But like you said, a lot of the officers became head busters. Like a lot of those people, stopped looking at people and like I said, I'm just gonna be real because I'm on the other side of it. They stopped looking at people as people. And we don't think about the effect of that on the culture. Like when we see somebody like George Floyd have somebody kneel on his neck till he dead, like you couldn't have thought that was a person.
no, no.
You had to have been conditioned to believe that these people was disposable for you to even sit in front of the whole public and do something like that. Like when we see it back now, people was telling him like, "Hey, get up!" Like he's straight, like not even a threat to you at all. You know what I'm saying? But that type of conditioning in law enforcement and in those types of environments, I think it followed us out of the ghetto into this era, into this time. But because of media, people now don't even think that's a reality no more. They don't realize there's still people behind these blocks doing time, and we still have to deal with those people as people when they come out.
Yeah. Yeah, because like, you got the normalcy back of them being gone and being quiet. You ain't hear them because they was gone. They was away. They wasn't a problem because you didn't have to deal with them. They were just put in a place. And if they were working on themselves, then that's, kudos to you for working on yourself. But if they ain't, then, they come out,
I mean, even
really
when
in
you're
a work.
working on yourself, though, you're working on yourself in a sensory deprivation tank. As
Right.
soon as the world come back in, as soon as your homeboys back on the block, as soon as you back in your environment, as soon as you back in your space, it's hard to change your habits outside of that environment and then put you right back in and
Yeah,
think you're
you're
gonna
right.
be a totally different person.
You're right. And it's like, because I'm gonna tell you, it's a lot of things that, and I probably would have kept making the same mistakes because I was telling you, um, I ended up taking a course that, ultimately changed my life, really, well, the way I was thinking, I wasn't thinking, I wasn't, that was my problem. I wasn't thinking. I would make my decision and wouldn't think of, or I wouldn't even think about no consequences, no repercussions or nothing. I was just, I was automatic with it. And so once I did actually take a course um, centered around decision making, I learned what I was doing wrong. And I was like, okay, well, shit, I ain't even been thinking about my damn decisions. I just been making the motherfuckers. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you give yourself time to think about, the goods and the bads of a decision that you're making, more than likely you won't make that decision or you'll make the right decision. I'm not gonna do this, or you think
These
about,
are the consequences. Yeah.
yeah, this is gonna affect this person, this person, this person if this happens, so I better not. Or so once I learned that, then I stopped getting in trouble a lot more
Do
than I
you
should.
feel like do you feel like because I really want to get into like as much as we have so much, and I'm gonna have to bring you back to really talk about and get into, when it comes to like the Black male image and the Black female image and how that whole thing really played out, because people don't understand everything about the Black culture is magnified in prison.
Yeah.
Racism, because
Hmm.
we had the essays in the pod, and it was always the essays versus the brothers, and I used to get accused of being a racist all the time if I
Well,
took
the,
the
well, the
soccer
essays
ball
factored in
off
there.
the off the rec yard and put the basketball out.
yeah, essays wanted to be in their own space, but like it was just crazy.
Yeah,
But you're
but
right.
you know, they disproportionately lock them up too, because they use integration. Like integration for them is what the war on drugs was for us. It's a way
Mhm.
to keep them locked up and away from their family and break down their economic machine that's moving forward, so that white people can continue to profit off the bodies because they
Mhm.
need bodies in prison to make money off of it.
Right.
And the
Yeah,
main
because
people
they
they make
invest.
money off of is us and Hispanics.
They definitely make money off prisons, and
Mhm.
like that has you know you could tell like the difference in the culture though by the way they treat. Like you can see like if I came in and I ain't have no homeboys in there, you know what I'm saying? I would probably have to go to bed needing a soup or something. You know what I'm saying? Or if I came in, I ain't had my money right. But if an essay came in the pie, and I know you done seen this, like they embrace that man, like, oh,
Yep.
by the
Yep.
end of the day, the Mexican be all plugged in. He'll have this, he'll have that, he have everything. And it's just like,
Yeah.
why we can't treat our own like that? I don't know, but it's just like got to be somebody we know, got to be from our hometown, we got to be homeboys.
Yeah,
Like,
y'all gotta have done it been friends in school. Like it's gotta
yeah,
be something
yeah,
for them to look out or
yeah,
else they your op. Like straight
yeah,
off.
yeah,
Straight
yeah,
off. They looking at you like, how can I get at them? How can I? But that's what I'm saying. That was the same thing I felt as a woman in uniform in that situation. Like I couldn't even look out if I wanted to because of how that situation was gonna proceed, because of the weakness that it was gonna create in my
right.
situation. And I'm gonna tell you something, there was nothing worse being a woman that other officers felt like could be compromised.
Mm-hmm.
Because I couldn't necessarily be like, okay, these inmates that I done looked out for, they gonna have my back if something happens. So, it's like you gotta pick your set. You gotta pick your set. So you either gotta be a super cop or, you gonna get swallowed up in that situation. So I think that's the
I
like
mean, yeah,
I think that's how
eventually
they
you'll
do
get
us in
swallowed up.
America though. Yeah.
Eventually you'll get swallowed up because even if you went by like, even if you went like, we're gonna tell on ourselves.
Yep.
We're gonna
Yep.
tell on ourselves. We're gonna like,
But you gonna tell on us if we was involved in it. So
yeah, yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, cause we're gonna give it away. We're gonna feel some type of way about you coming through. We ain't gonna be able to contain it. We're gonna, we might tell our homeboy, like, nigga, she brought me some goddamn cigarettes or something. And then he gonna go tell somebody he trusts, and before you know
yeah,
it, the whole
and now you're
prison on.
compromised, right?
Yeah,
Now
you
you're
compromise.
compromised,
So
and
it's just like,
everything that you built is in jeopardy. But I feel like they do that with black people just all the way around the board. It's just like anything else. Either you're aligned with our principles and our thoughts, or else we gonna throw you to the wolves. And
mhm,
if it don't pan out for you, it's like for instance, Kanye want us to take it back now, and
right.
it's like. But when Sway told you to do this stuff yourself, no, you went and you signed up with everybody, you signed
He
your
did, he
name,
did,
you went in these contracts.
but he did say he had he apologized. He said Sway had the answers.
Exactly. But my point of what I'm saying is he was all right doing it their way as long as he was aligned with their politics. As soon as you start saying things that deviate, which I mean, we don't recognize now that he completely off his meds. I got an episode coming about that because
Yeah, Kanye just
I tried to
yeah.
tell y'all though. I tried to
I
tell
like I
y'all.
like I still like Kanye. Okay.
Everybody gonna always mess with Kanye because he was for the culture. But my point in what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, it's us versus them. Like it's always us versus them. And
But you
anytime
know
you
what? I'm
lose
gonna
sight of that, you gonna lose something in your inherent selfness.
did he go back and say something about
Nazis.
supporting Balenciaga?
Oh yeah, and Nazis. He said he
Oh my
loved Nazis too.
God.
So but see
Lord.
that's the thing people don't understand, because if you've never had like a mental illness or dealt with people who are mentally ill, you don't understand that, because people will be like, but he was right about this. They are lucid. Just like when you got somebody with like Alzheimer's, there'll be times of lucidity where they'll come in and they'll remember you and memories and they'll be great. You think they back, and then all of a sudden they be like, out the door and don't know, like, so you
I
have to
don't
be
know you.
careful with people who have mental, yeah, I don't know you. What are you talking about? Like
Yeah.
all in the same conversation. You like, you just told me you, so you have to be careful. Plus he a Gemini, so he gonna gaslight you anyway. So, but my thing, he Gemini and mentally ill, so we should not trust Kanye. Love
Oh my
him fine.
God, you're so
Trust
big on
him
the
though.
signs.
Yeah,
No.
I can't do nothing with a Gemini. Can't do nothing for a Gemini. As a matter of fact, throw the whole month of June away.
Oh my God.
Throw the whole month of June away. The whole entire month. But anyway, my
Blame
point, I ain't gonna get on nobody's side unless they Gemini. But or Sagittarius. It's Sagittarius season, so I ain't gonna speak on them right now. I'm gonna wait until Capricorn season and then start talking junk about Sagittarius again.
okay.
But all I'm saying that to say is that we can't put our community back together in those situations. Like you said, you see those breakdowns, and when you come back out to that same fractured
Mm,
system
right.
of people being out to get you. Because I know we talked about that even in just doing your art and doing your poetry and doing gigs. Like we haven't even been able to establish an art scene in Charlotte where you got so many artists. Like we got North Carolina artists that can't even work together
Right.
because we so busy worried about one up at each other. And I feel like it's those same politics coming back into play.
Right. It is. It is. It's all systematic. It's there. Like it's programmed. And we gotta we as people, we have to reprogram ourselves to do the things that we really need to do as a family, as a culture, as a to get back to our roots. Like like the big wigs. You made a point to say that we got so far away from what we really originally was fighting for, but now it seems like with all these people, all these black people that they got accomplishments, they got accolades, and they got the money, but it's like, okay, well, y'all got all that, but okay, when you gonna start pouring back into these parents? When you gonna start pouring back into these ghettos? Like, no, not just pouring into them, like, because whatever you donate that to, that don't all that money don't filter back into the ghetto like it should. Like, when are you really gonna start putting things together for these broken communities?
Yeah, but I feel
So
like you have to show up to even know what the problems are. Most of these people, as soon
exactly.
as they get money, as soon as they get resources, as soon as they get influence, they leave that whole situation. Even with the Sway and Kanye conversation, that's what Sway was saying, was like, stay in the community and build it here. And he was basically like, no, I gotta go and get it. And then they go and get it and never come back.
Yeah, but and that's the big thing. And so when we sacrifice our dollars, because we had people before us sacrifice their life, and it's now like, okay, they sacrificed their life for you to get to where you at. You just don't get to where you at and just stay there and try to get more and more and more. Not, I mean, you can get more and more and more. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is, our purpose as people, I feel, and it's just my opinion, that, we should always reach out and help, you know, people that's under us, people that need it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, but it's a lot of people that are gonna have to walk away from what they built in order to understand it. Because I know for me, I had gotten to a place, like even just going back to what we were saying about the prison system, I had gotten to a place where people weren't people anymore, and I hadn't seen what it was doing to me, but I was not a person anymore. That's why I always talk about, when we talk about racist systems, people always talk about the victims of the system and not the
mhm,
perpetrators, because there's no way you can hold on to your humanity, your personhood, and be denying other people theirs. There's something inside of you that has to die. And it wasn't until I stopped working in the jails and the prisons that I found myself again, because I had lost a certain element
mhm.
of being able to reach out and touch people in their
Yeah, being
humanity.
compassion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, and those systems aren't compassionate. Even the
no,
people
it's
are
not.
that are in them aren't compassionate because you can't stay in it and
It's
be
not. It's
compassionate. It's
time
not
you
set up for that.
blind zone, if any. That's one of the jobs where you got to be in a tunnel a tunnel vision state and not really see people. You know, you got to see, okay, a number. That's exactly what you got to see, like a number. The number you is like. That's why I guess it's so easy for them to what MH0 such and such such. You know what I'm saying. And they couldn't say M8 or whatever, but it's just like they don't
We
want
have
to
to
say
say inmate. We had to refer to you as inmate. Like
right,
I couldn't talk to you as a person because like
right,
you the inmate. And they wanted those lines of division to stay there. But it goes to show because people have never operated in a system like that, they don't see that same system of, white supremacy
out
operating to
there,
keep us from working together.
right, right. And it's the same. And it's the same thing. It's just you paying attention to it. But if you bring those same things outside of prison and watch how they implement them same little things right into reality of us, like the same shit going on. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? It's
Yep.
like
The same devise, the same, division, the same programming, the same thought processes. And now we've taken it over.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I was
That's the problem. That's one of our problems. We have everything itself. It's more who's like when you analyzing the problem now. You got to start with us first.
yeah, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? If we're gonna change anything, it's got to start within, and then we can attack anything else. But if we don't get the problems that we have right in front of us out of the way, then
Yeah,
I don't
Stokely Carmichael said that in 19, I want to say 69 or maybe 72. He said, in order for a group of people to compete in an open market, they have to first close their ranks. And as long as black people don't love black people, as long as black people don't feel like they have solidarity with each other, as long as we don't see ourselves as the solution, like as long as we're not the answer,
Mhm.
as long as somebody else is the answer. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest, it breaks my heart to see it because I've seen what happens that type of that type of mentality is on a culture. But you can hear that. You can hear black men saying, well, white women are better, da, da, da. Like whenever the answer has nothing to do with the betterment of black people, you have to start asking yourself, whose system are you really building and perpetuating? Like when we was watching all those black women on crack, when we was watching all the black men go to prison, when we were watching all the children be put into the prison, the pipeline, the school to prison pipeline, consistently underachieving, which meant you was going to get out of school and not have no prospects, which meant you was going to do crime and go to prison.
Right.
Like all
It
of
was
that
it's
stuff.
like the design
The design is flawless.
is yeah.
It's flawless.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's actually brilliant when you think of it from a business standpoint, but it's just like, wow.
But see, we never get to see the other side of the coin. They pick the black people out of the field that they feel like will make good house Negroes. Like, from my from my reformation as a house Negro, it's tough because there is no longer a safe place for blackness, for black people. We've been completely integrated into the matrix. Like when I was talking about room 303, it's the hard line out of the matrix. Like we don't even have a concept of life outside of the construct that's already been made for us. And so I wanted to bring you on because I know poetry and your art and things like that. Do you feel and it's just a question, do you feel like it helped you escape that? Like, is it a form of escapism for you being a performer? Because we have a lot of performers that have been able to escape the system based on their performance. But because I had that conversation with you and I was like, your art has to be real. It can't just be performative because then you'll escape and it will not actually benefit your people.
Well, it's kind of crazy that you say that, but yeah, it is escape too. It's very real for me though. It comes from a place of genuine and authenticity, but it's an escape for me also as well, because I get like I can go there, like I can, like if I'm feeling bad, like I can write about feeling bad and feel better. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like it's so therapeutic for me that like um when I went through like loss, heavy loss, I usually tend to write, and it just brings some kind of peace to me. I don't know. Like actually writing, not typing, actually with a pen and a
Mhm.
pad, and I'm writing, but yeah.
Yeah. I've been in therapy for many years, and journaling is something that pretty much all is the staple of all therapists because, like you said, it allows you to get it out and actually be able to look at it and see it for what it is. But I know for me, I feel like we don't have that type of introspection. Black men, are not encouraged to express themselves, to express anything other than ego, because I was listening to what you were saying just now and it made me think about all the artists who have used their pen to escape their community to the detriment of their community, wrote things
Mhm.
that didn't build their people, that didn't
Right.
leave a legacy, you know what I mean? And so that's why I always have so much respect for your art and the way that you approach it, because it's like you recognize that the things that you say are going to be behind you. Because I looked up the poem you were talking about and it was called Mother to Son.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Langston Hughes poem. And the same way that was something that came and found you, because I'm speaking prophetically to you now. I can see the change in your facial feature. And you came on here for all this. But if they hadn't been left for you in a dark place, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can talk about Migos, we could talk about Future, we could talk about all these artists and all these people. But if that hadn't been left for you in a dark place, there was depths of yourself that needed to be explored, that there's no guarantee you would have got there through rhyming, but you did get there through your poetry. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's what that was imparted in you to be able to pass that on, because we've had that conversation. You do so much. It's like I could
Yeah.
do my acting, I could do my comedy, I could do my music, I could do my poetry. And I've always said to you, I feel like your poetry is the thing that you will be known for. It's the thing you'll be rewarded for. It's the thing that, even though people don't respect it, because like I write books, I got my
Mm-hmm.
books sitting up here on
Right.
this thing, and the people talk to me all the time. They be like, what are your books about? It's like, read it. People don't read anymore. They don't see the
Right.
value
Yeah.
of those.
Yeah.
They don't see the value of those words anymore. That's evident in our culture because they'll just say anything.
Right.
But the world that has been built and has been framed was built by the words of our prophets. Like, the reason why people love Kanye so much is because we know his words. We can quote Kanye better than the Bible in some
Right.
places.
Right.
And so for me, I just feel like, as a man who has had to fight his way out of so many situations, in order for other people to not have to go through that same journey that you went on, you have to leave them with that framework.
Mm-hmm.
That
Most
makes sense?
Yeah, most definitely. And that's why most of the time, and like I was telling you, like I'm an open book. If you can think about it and ask it to me, I'm gonna try to answer it. But like I am very much an open book, and my life is meant for everybody to pull something from, and I don't think that's our purpose, really. And because I look at my son and I see so much of a better version of me that is just crazy. I'm like, oh my God, you're gonna be, they have this the height, you're gonna have the looks, you're gonna have the, oh my God, you smart, like you're gonna have, okay, what am I missing? So it's just like,
And we got these better versions of us out here, but we've left them a trash ass community.
oh
Like,
yeah,
can you imagine the young people we have now in the 60s and 70s where there was actually infrastructure, where there was actually still black organization, where there was black, you know, and we have left them nothing. Like when Martin Luther King said he integrated us into a burning building, it's done burnt down.
well,
It ain't
that's the
even
thing.
burning no more. It ain't even smoking no more.
Well, this the thing, and nothing was left for me. And I'm just being real. Nothing, and nothing was left for me, and I don't use that as an excuse. We adapt or adjust the best way we know how or we can.
Adapt and survive.
But nothing was really left for me, and in fact, a lot of the things that I know I learned on my own. Just by reading, just being a big reader. And so if I could leave anything with anyone, it would be to always read and empower your brain with books such as like the dictionary, the Bible. Even if religion not your thing, the Bible
Yeah,
has
the Bible
a
is
lot of great
still
things.
an amazing book.
Yes. And so you know um I think I think a lot of my learning came from the ability to learn how to understand. Things are not so problematic if you got a sense of knowing and understanding. So, like you be able to come up with solutions that you didn't even know that you could be able to come up with.
Exactly,
And it,
exactly, and Black people are the engineers of the world.
Mhm.
We have, they've made us beast of burden and chattel and consumers.
Right,
But when you put us in a production state, when we become the producers, we do things that they could never even think of. You know what I mean? And that's why it's been so great for me to see, you move not just from being in prison, but from the mindset, because freedom has nothing to do with where you actually
exactly,
reside.
exactly. And I think um, I felt free in mind way before I was released, and it showed
And
really.
it shows.
Yeah, it do.
It
Um,
does. I'm always glad to get on other people's like platforms because I feel like it always shows like a different side of who I am. Like people that's been following you for Raymond Earl, for poems, for music, they probably have never seen like, just the other sides of you, like what goes into making you who you are, what goes into your art, what goes into how you have survived, you know what I'm saying? Like to even see the whole it changes things when people can see what you had to overcome to still put a smile on other people's face to still believe in that. You know what I mean?
right, right, right. And it's I well, I made my sister would quote to me like every year after I got out. She was like, "You're doing pretty good. You've been out 2 years now. You've been out 3 years now. You've been out 4 years now." You know what I'm saying? Until
Milestones.
she it she wasn't counting no more, and it was like, oh, that's a beautiful thing.
That's a beautiful thing to know that people don't even measure your life by that no more. And
Yeah,
so I love having people on my platform because I get to see different sides of them. I love going on other people's platforms because people think I'm a man hater. They think I hate all men. They think that I was put here on this earth to make sure a man can't breathe. Okay. They think I'm Derek Chauvin and I'm just gonna be on the man neck all day. But people don't understand that outside of this, I really do have relationships with people that I'm rooting for that I want to see win. I always want to see you win because I know that the things that are coming out of you they come from within. And I'm gonna leave you with this. I remember, like, because I'm a kid of the 80s. I love the 80s. I love me all things 80s. And back then they had, real movies. Like they had the Karate Kid, and
Right.
he said that about Daniel. He said, Daniel, you'll survive because your roots are deep. And there are some people that when they go through stuff, they leaves and they branches and they limbs are wither because their roots ain't deep enough. You know what I'm saying? But I want you to keep putting out art that is going to really impact people that have so many things in common with you. Because like I told you, you was talking about them taking your poetry book, and I lost my poetry book, baby. That was the last poem I ever wrote.
Yeah.
I was like, oh well,
Yeah. You got
it's in the books.
yeah.
And so, I really want to encourage you, because you were leaving footprints in the state in the sand, not just for your children and your sons, for mine, for other men that are in that situation and they haven't found their way out. They haven't read a book, they haven't opened a book yet. And they don't recognize that when you read the book reads you back.
Right. Most definitely. Most definitely. I appreciate that. I appreciate you for having me on the wire this morning.
Listen, you're gonna be back because I want to put you on a panel with some other artists, especially talking about North Carolina art. Even though I'm about to bounce out, I
Hmm.
definitely feel like we got to strengthen up our networks here, because
Yeah.
otherwise, a lot of our artists are walking away from artistry. I know I did, because I was
Yeah.
like, forget this.
It definitely starts with us. It definitely
Yeah.
starts with us. We definitely got to motivate and push each other, and that's what it starts with.
Yeah, because some of us been here doing art for 20 years, and it's
Mhm.
like artists coming up behind us that don't have nowhere to go, because in 20 years we didn't even put nothing in place. You go to other cities, Atlanta, Houston, all these other places. So I'm definitely gonna have you back to put you on a panel to talk a whole lot more about your art. But I'm glad that you were able to kind of take some of those layers off and really show people where you're coming from and what a testament you are to what a black man that's not gonna be deterred by his circumstances can accomplish.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It was. And looking back, I'm gonna go and look at the actual stream after it's posted. But yeah, I like the conversation, and I definitely love to come back. I
Absolutely, because me and you talked about this for like 2 days, for like
yeah,
hours, like stuff that didn't
so,
even make the cut. And I
yeah,
told you that would happen. I told you, I said it's
yeah.
crazy because we gonna say all this, and then as soon as we push the button to go live, ain't none of this gonna make the stream. So we definitely still have so much more to share, especially about our
We just say
our
this part one.
stories.
Just say this part one. Just say this
Yeah, this
part.
is part one, but
And
I'm
I
definitely
yeah,
gonna have you back, and I definitely want to get one of them Raymond Earl skits, because I got some characters too. I got
hey,
some
we're gonna put that
characters.
together then. Let's put that together.
Listen, I am a character. It's crazy because I get on this channel and I be sounding like a black civil rights leader, but I am a whole full gambit of like, I'm a whole full gambit of characters. Okay.
You got to mix it up sometimes. You can we know you got the seriousness in you, but I think
Yeah, I'm more ridiculous than Tyler Perry when I cut loose. But I do think we have to use the art as an opportunity to talk about those heavier issues.
yes.
And black people, we just play all day, we just tap dance for the man, and then we never get back to the business. We never get back to the work.
And I think, and like I love like having I love that you let me or we was able to talk about, like, this is one of the issues that people, some of the issues that, because even though
Never talk
it,
about it. I haven't heard a podcast where anybody even talks about our black men in prison as if they still exist. They're like Santa Claus, like
right,
they in the North Pole somewhere and they gonna
or
come back one day.
yeah, but and that's why I like I still got a brother in prison right now, so it's just like,
Mhm. And see, he
prison
gonna
is
come back to an environment that's not even ready to receive him because they don't have no idea what his experiences are like. And I can honestly say, man, them years that I spent in there, it took something from me in a way that I relate even to my own black men nowadays. And you can never get that innocence back. It's a loss to innocence.
never.
Like, men will say that to me, they be like, see, you just need to see, you could be the type of woman for me if you could. I be like, baby, sit down somewhere and clock out for me. Go ahead and clock out. just because you can never go back. You can never go back to that type of innocence. You can never, after what I seen in there, after what I've been through. So I can only imagine what it's like, because even the stuff I saw was from, a certain level. So
Mm-hmm.
I can't even imagine what it's like for a man that's been in there to come back out into the world and really still have that hope, still have, still be pressing. So that's why I said just stay on your grind,
Yeah,
Maurice.
well, that's
Reese.
you know, I
Big
will.
Reese.
but I would tell you that's what makes me go, because it's just like, well, shit, you ain't got nothing else, nigga. The alternative, motherfucker.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what make you be like, get on
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
come up with the next thing. You gotta do that. And I think until we as like I think we've been given so much that it's given us comfort. And until we as Black people get back in the struggle and in the grind, we won't even know what we made of. You know what I'm saying? Every day for you is like, okay, what's next? What's the next level? How much
Right.
further can I take this? And I feel like a lot of that was forged in you from that environment, because it was forged in me. That's why people be talking to me, baby. Ain't nobody gonna break my stride over here.
For real. And
Because I had to fight. I had to fight an inmate one time.
did you?
Yeah, for 1 minute. No, it
Oh,
was 4 minutes. It was 4 minutes. I had to fight him for 4 minutes, because you can always count it. You can always know. It's just indelibly in your mind, because
4 minutes
always
a
think
long
to
time.
yourself, it's a whole long time. That's how long it took from, because an inmate had to grab my radio and call for help. Another inmate had to call for help.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when
And
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and head out. Go ahead.
damn.
So I had to fight an inmate one time before, but I had a good relationship with the dudes in my pod, because they was like, "Listen, you ain't go." I was a Sandoval back then. They was like, "You ain't gonna jump on Sandoval," and they was on it. They was on top of it. And then all my officers came in, so because they got to get past the doors. See, people don't know about them doors, but
Yeah,
you
they got
cannot get out. You
now. You
cannot
can't.
get in, and you can't
Not
get
if
out.
they
Somebody
bust it.
gotta override them in order
Yeah,
for them to
not if
both
they
pop open.
motherfuckers.
No, you can't get in and you can't get out. Even when somebody want to help you, they can't get in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was 4 minutes. That's how long they
Woo.
told me it took for them to get to me. So yeah, that's why I say, people, man, it's a conversation for a whole nother day, but it's wild in there. And when you come out, the way those relationships are between Black men and Black women have changed. So that's why I was like, I feel like me and you are kind of like representations of what needs to happen, especially when you look at how we started, and then it's like, you know what? This still my brother, this still my sister,
Right.
these still
Right.
my people. And if we can, look at where we came from and put all that down, Black people got to start putting that stuff down, and stop feeling like we're in this competition with each other, especially men and women. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm team woman. You
Mm.
watch some of my other podcasts, you'd be
I
like,
already know. I already know you.
evil.
I
But
already
people
know you.
don't know, in my personal life, I'm always speaking life to men that I really see trying to do and undo what they seen done. You know what I mean? So that's why, we gonna always be down like flat tires. If you doing it, let me know so I can support. Just like you came over here, and I appreciate you. So you got anything coming up? Go ahead and give these people your Instagram, your TikTok handles, and all your stuff so that they can connect with you.
All right. My TikTok is Big Box One. That's two X's. My that's my there's some good stuff on there. My fresh
Mhm.
and my IG is fresh underscore ink underscore Reese underscore. I know there's a lot of
Is
underscores.
it Reese, Reese?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I got an album dropping.
Yeah, tell us about it.
It's like I said, it's called The Gifted. It's like 4 installments of it, and the first one is gonna have like 9 or 10 tracks on there, but it's nice.
Yeah, but you on iTunes and
Mm.
Spotify. Like, where your music at? Because I got it off of Amazon. Oh, look like we lost you, Reese. But make sure you guys go and check out Maurice's page. He does comedy, he does music, he does poetry. And it is wonderful, like I said, for me to see my brother really just always picking himself up. A lot of people don't see what's behind his comedy, behind his art, but I have seen it, and it's a lot to stay in the fight when you're an artist, especially a local artist. It takes so much love for you from your community for you to really stay in that fight as an artist. So definitely check him out. There's more to all of us than just where we've been and what we've been through. And I know for me, I have a lot of respect for him because, like I said, I used to serve him trays in a pod, and we have seen a whole different side of Black community and Black society that really gave us, I won't say like a bond because it's like weird, but definitely gave us some commonality. And you wouldn't even think those would be the things that you could build from. But we as Black people can take any morsel of commonality that we have with each other and start to build. That's more important than what is against us if we'll use it to work together. And that's why I wanted to bring my brother on here, let him share some of his background and some of his insights. And like I said, a lot of people don't think I do work off of here. Y'all think I just come on here to like burn and pillage Black men, and it's not that. It's just a responsibility and accountability that has to be taken, because you can't dump your whole community on the women of said community. And this is the work. These conversations, making sure that we don't forget about the men that we have behind the wall, that we're ready to mobilize them when they come out, that we're ready to embrace them and understand that they have lost a certain amount of innocence and have been indelibly changed by the responsibility. We also have to circle around those who are in service, professions, because I know for me, my therapy started when I started having panic attacks inside the prison. I was in the prison, and like I said, you work so hard to become like this wall that inmates can't get past, that a lot of your humanity and your personhood is lost in that fight. So we really have to look at how we can address the mental health of officers, especially Black ones, because baby, when you inside that system, you Black twice. It is not what they say it is. They talk about blue life. There's no such thing when you're Black. Okay, you are not covered by the same protections under the law as your white brethren when you are an officer. And so we really have to look at how we can begin to close those gaps when it comes to us being Black people across profession lines, class lines, gender lines, color lines, because there is colorism. We got to stop all this light skin, dark skin talk. But this conversation for me tonight was about that. Was about showing that there really isn't anything that Black people can't overcome and still find commonality and still do the work, still build communities. Because like I said, me and him are talking about how we can give more Black men and women space to be artists in North Carolina and be supported by their community, because a lot of people come from other states to Charlotte and to North Carolina. So we really don't have our own fan base, because a lot of people would rather represent the states that they come from than to really invest into and check out North Carolina artists. So, the same way we say buy Black and buy local when it comes to food and all these other stuff, buy local. When it comes to your music and your artistry, because there are artists around here in North and South Carolina and the Carolinas that are doing great things and would benefit from your patronage. But with all that being said, go ahead and make sure you drop me that fire headphones emoji down in the comments. I will see you and engage with you there. I'll also be putting a link to all of Maurice's media in the description box. Y'all do not check that description box, and there are links there. So definitely make sure you check him out. And even though he's gone, Maurice, thank you for being here. I am going to put you on the panel, and I am going to see you all in the next one. Y'all have a good night. Nah, nah, nah. Gonna have a good time. Good night.